What's that up in the sky? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's the Powerful Podcast. Hello, my friends. I am Corey, and joined with me is my good friend and confidant, Christian. You guys might know us from Super Kami Guru 9000 on YouTube. We review anime, pop culture, you know, all that jazz. But for a long time, we have been wanting to do a podcast show. And after a lot of finagling and getting haggled by a lot of our fans, and even a freaking Kickstarter that went up, we have finally decided it's about time that we've finally done this. And I think it's awesome because we always talk about anime, we always talk about that stuff, but this podcast is going to give us an opportunity to reach out to our fellow nerd and talk to the ones that we never get to talk about and all the other cool pop culture events. I'm really excited about this. It's opening up a new chapter for us.
I love your enthusiasm, Corey. You just open the gate, pow, here comes the podcast. And Corey and I spent a long time thinking about the name, because one of the main things that we were considering is, what are we going to call this thing? Because we're trying to expand beyond anime. And I think you do that a lot of the times with your trailer reviews and things like that. But we just want a podcast where we can hang out and just chill. And we may be addressing the camera, or we may just be addressing each other.
We're new to this.
We're new to this. We're seeing what works. Do we just want to hang out and talk about the stuff we love, or do we want to maybe like run 10 topics up the list and you guys suggest stuff and we'll talk about that? And one of the main things I want to say is I love talking about anime, but maybe we could talk about other things in pop culture news that you may be interested in, Corey or myself, or if you guys want to suggest something, we'd love that. And so, you know, we're just trying out this podcast thing and seeing what's up. Corey and I actually have a list of topics and experiences we probably want to talk about today. But beyond that, you know, this is real organic and the situation is very fluid. So we'll see what happens.
And something too, obviously the first couple episodes, things are going to be a little rough around the edges.
No, they're not.
And we are going to try and allow these to be downloadable eventually on iTunes, so that you guys can have an audio version of this, so you can listen to it in your car, on your iPad devices, your phones, what have you. Because I know that some people want an audio version only of this because it's a little easier for them to digest, because this is going to be a little longer than some of our other shows. We're going to try to make these at least 45 minutes to an hour, maybe longer, depending on what we're talking about, because we really don't have a plan for these. No. Like Christian said, we basically have a few topic ideas. We're just going to roll through them, but who knows, we could go off on tangents.
We're going to sit in front of these cameras and these microphones until we just start hanging out, and we're going to record that, we're going to put it on the internet, and we're going to see what happens. And one of the main things that I really want to do with this is just have fun, and I think it's a new way to like connect with our fans a lot, like you were saying, because one of the things is that I feel like we're kind of super restricted when we make our videos. We just sit there, have to talk about this. Did we cover everything? Go, go, go. Upload, go, go. It's like this little rushed production, which I enjoy doing, but at the same time, I kind of want to just hang out and see if we can reach out to some other communities and have fun on the internet.
That is what's cool about this, because in the YouTube anime community, when you make videos, it's all about the relevancy of like today's manga, today's episode. It's like, get yours out now, and an hour after the episode is out, or you are screwed because you're competing with other people. So this is a little different, but honestly, I like it. It's just so much more laid back. And I mean, you know, we're both drinking. We're enjoying ourselves. This allows us to really kick back.
I have coffee.
Today's episode is brought to you by Woodchuck Hard Cider. It really isn't, but if you guys would like to be a sponsor so you can send us free cider, I will certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, we're also, delicious. If you do want to support the things we do moving forward, always we recommend our PayPal or Amazon links, because that's like really the simplest way to support us. Like I've had a dude that just donates $2 every month for a long time, and I am really sorry I don't know your name right now, but like it blows our mind. We may not be saying thank you messages every month, but like seeing just anyone say that anything we do on the internet is worth value is pretty awesome. So yeah. Corey, what is the first topic you had? I know you had a few bookmarks and things like that.
Yeah, I had a few things planned, just some things I want to talk about, that some of them are anime related, some of them are not. The first one is kind of a mixture, and this is actually some pretty big news going down in the world of Marvel Comics. Now, Christian, I know you're not the biggest fan of Marvel Comics, but you have been telling me you've been reading a lot of Deadpool comics recently.
Yeah, Deadpool, like, tickled my fancy. I guess I was on Imgur the other day, and I saw Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, and I read the whole thing, and it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea how powerful Deadpool was and how borderline awesome / annoying he is with his like banter. And he killed Spider-Man by shooting him through the head, and it was just so intense and gory. I was like, what is this? And then but before that, getting back to the actual like Marvel thing, I got really intrigued when I heard Civil War was the next movie series to come out, and I pretty much went and I got all those comics and read them all. And so I'm up to speed on that. But it just blew my mind that stuff is coming. I don't want to like spoil it and explain the whole thing, but like,
I mean, it's Marvel and the Civil War. It's like Spider-Man versus Abraham Lincoln. It's all you need to know. But something that I think is really interesting, though. I like the fact that you've been reading a few of these Marvel comics, but a big event's about to go down in the Marvel universe. Marvel Comics has just made this big announcement where they're going to reboot the entire universe, a la DC's New 52.
Didn't they already do that? Like Thor became a chick or something? I remember reading that.
That's basically just been a lot of the spin-offs and one-off comics from Marvel Comics. But they're having this big event coming up, which is known as Secret Wars. And basically it's going to reboot the entire Marvel franchise, and they're going to start over again from zero. And really why I'm so intrigued about this is not only are they restarting, but you're going to be able to get this comic on Free Comic Book Day coming up in May, which is a huge event for comic fans. But for anime fans, they're going to get a bonus, because this Secret Wars issue is going to come with the very first issue of the Marvel crossover with Attack on Titan. So you're going to be able to not only get it in America, but you're going to be able to get it for free. And that's amazing.
Isn't the Marvel crossover also kind of ridiculous that manga and comic books are actually combining?
It is. That's the thing that's really cool about this. It's really breaking the barrier between manga and comic books, which at face value are similar. Culturally speaking, in how they're drawn and how they look, that's a whole nother
like when you describe what we do to people outside of in the real world, in the RL.
The easiest way is I review Japanese cartoons, or I review Japanese comic books.
That's how I describe it, Japanese comic books and anime. And people are like, oh, okay.
But what's really cool about this comic, though, is that it's definitely leaning more towards the art style in terms of American comics. But the actual story is going to be written, I believe, by the author of the series, which I think is really awesome. And by the way, if you guys want to take a look at this, we'll put links for all of these topics in the description box below so you guys can check it out, because there's a lot of cool imagery. Before we got our first teaser image, which is basically a black and white image of Spider-Man.
Like Spider-Man swinging.
Exactly, running away from a Titan. And in this first image here, it looks like we have the Guardians of the Galaxy, we have the Avengers, so that's like Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Captain America.
Oh, really?
And right in the middle, you have towering over the Statue of Liberty, the colossal Titan from the series, with the steam coming off of his body, and damn it, this looks awesome.
I had no idea all those people were going to... I thought it was Spider-Man.
That was the thing. They're really opening up the floodgates for this crossover. They're kind of going insane with it, kind of like what they did with Marvel Zombies a few years back.
Where they're bringing
in their AAA characters, and they're having them go up against a AAA manga, which, obviously the story's not going to be canon to either side of the Marvel Universe or Attack on Titan, but just the process... And the concept of them coming together, I just think is really awesome, and I love how smooth it's going.
Can
it just looks fun.
Be bit in half? I don't know.
That's the thing, this is what I'm excited to see. Like what's going to happen when Hulk versus a Titan? Like, what heroes do you want to see fight against Titans?
Well, I think Spider-Man's personally my favorite, and maybe that's because his image came out first. But the idea is he kind of moves like if you had 3D movement gear on already, because he just swings around. And that's kind of what you do with those spikes that fly out and stuff. So I think Spider-Man has he kind of could hang with the main character. It wouldn't be like Hulk, because Hulk can't fight alongside the main character. He just goes and punches things and stuff. And then, I don't know, Iron Man, but I think it's just because I like Iron Man. I don't really have a reason. I think his technique doesn't really... It's just lasers. Anyone could fight Titans with lasers.
I mean, the thing I like about this comic, though, it's like an excuse to sort of bring out, the big brutal characters from the Marvel Universe. I mean, you're going to see obvious ones, like, Wolverine running up a Titan's back with his claws and just cutting up their neck and everything. That's going to be really awesome. But the one thing I am interested in is, obviously, the Titans are going to be involved in Marvel Comics. Are they going to try and bring in the actual characters from Attack on Titan? Are we going to see, say, Black Widow interact with Mikasa?
I think they have to. If they're opening all the floodgates for the Marvel heroes, why wouldn't they open, the possibility to use the actual main characters from Attack on Titan, which are all depressing people,
Yeah, they seem like they belong more in the DC universe.
Yeah.
It almost seems like that'd be a more appropriate crossover.
Batman and them could really get together way more.
Exactly.
More brooding.
But what I also really like is basically this is also another big push for Attack on Titan, because not only is the anime season coming back in 2016, but there's also the brand new live-action movie, which I'm not even sure how I feel about it.
I was about to say the same thing. I don't even know how I feel about that.
a lot of the times movie adaptations are different, and this one's going to be no different. I mean, Hanji Zoe, you remember the character from Attack on Titan who was obsessed with him?
Yes.
Like, she just wanted to study him. In the new movie, there's a poster of her, and she has a rocket launcher.
Okay, cool.
You remember those from Attack on Titan?
No.
The scene where they had, like, the big shootouts and stuff?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that really changes it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they're taking the whole post-apocalyptic setting in a brand new direction with, like, modern-day weapons, which... What the hell is an AK-47 gonna do against a big, giant, massive walking wall of meat?
I guess you could, like, shoot its eyes or something.
I guess. I mean, they can blind them, but, you know, they got the Wolverine healing, too, so, you know, who knows where that's gonna go.
I'd say rocket launcher is about the only useful thing.
Probably, as long as they hit them...
kneecaps and then chop them up when they fall to the ground.
Just, like, explode their kneecaps and then just run up and just, like, knife the hell out of their neck. Make it, like, really over-the-top and violent.
That or just, like, a 50 caliber machine gun. I'm sure that would work. Maybe.
But the thing about this movie, too, is it is a Japanese production, so we're probably not going to see it in the States. It's going to be kind of like a import, kind of like when they did the live-action Death Note, which I still have not seen.
I've never seen that either.
I've seen a lot of clips of it on YouTube, and it's just... It's weird because they're going for the realistic tone of, you know, making it a live-action movie, but, you know, the Death God, Ryuk, the real creepy-looking dude.
He's like CGI.
He looks just like he does in the comics. Like, and you know, the fans are probably happy about it. They're like, awesome. They're literally staying as faithful to it as possible. But it's so similar to the comics in terms of its style and what it looks like that it completely clashes with the live-action. And it literally looks like just a live-action cartoon.
Is it a live-action cartoon or is it CGI?
No, the actors they're human and they're not CGI, and you actually see them.
Oh, so he's like a costume.
No, he's like CGI, like
okay,
yeah, like he floats around and stuff, and it's not like they use the characters of the Death Gods too much in Death Note. Like they're mostly just sort of there in the background to just give commentary. But still,
that's all they do, really.
Exactly. But in that movie, like they just I don't know if they blend in or not, and I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do that with the Titans. And again, it just begs the question: does anime need to be live action, or should it just stay anime?
Well, it's just when you're that successful, which Attack on Titan was, they're gonna make money as much as they possibly can with it. When in Attack on Titan, they got away with a live action movie. That's how much it was like super successful. Like everyone was talking about Attack on Titan. Like everyone I talked to about anime in 2014 was like Attack on Titan. That's something they mentioned.
I almost avoided that show.
Really?
Yeah, like that was.
You did avoid the first few episodes.
The first 3 altogether. But this was at a point too, like on our channel, like we only reviewed a few things, and I wasn't too open to reviewing a lot of that other stuff. But I was just getting so many emails about the show, and even you were watching it.
Yeah.
And then I finally checked, and I was like, "Holy shit, this show's really good." And you know, I don't want to jump on the whole dick riding Attack on Titan association.
The Titanic dick.
But I do think it's a good show. It does have its flaws. But it's certainly become, I think, one of the biggest like anime phenomenons in the last couple of years. If only for the fact that we already got this next season coming out, live action movie. It is currently airing on Toonami. If you guys want to watch it, I believe it airs 11:30 on Saturday nights. I think it does. Kill La Kill's about to be on Adult Swim.
It's about time that show gets some more.
Yeah.
I tried to show that show to my girlfriend, and she was just not interested. For some reason,
why.
The naked transformations just didn't do it for her.
Every time I talk to people about Kill La Kill, it's always the same. Yeah, it's a great show. Then I showed it to my girlfriend.
Yeah, or...
She didn't really like all the nakedness.
I showed Gurren Lagann to someone, and they loved it. And they thought like the love story was beautiful and everything, and they really loved the action. They liked the love story more than they liked the action, which I was like, that's really fucking retarded because the action's way better.
The love story in Gurren Lagann didn't really put me off too much.
Well, it's not that it's bad. It's just it is what it is.
A lot of the times those stories can be really generic, but that one actually felt kind of genuine. Maybe because you got to see the characters like literally grow. Mm-hmm. Like they started young, and by the end of the series, they were adults.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't care about the love story part, but he did. And then I recommended Kill La Kill because I said that's like the predecessor that company worked on next. And he's like, yeah, I tried to watch it. It's just, he's like, I felt like a pervert.
Yeah, I mean, the show can certainly, I guess I can evoke that out of people. Mm-hmm. And there were moments I can say, while watching, I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to watch this if, like, say, my parents came to visit this weekend and they saw me watching this on TV. I might change the channel. Yeah, it's a little extreme for them, But my parents already think anime's weird as shit by itself. If they saw something like Kill La Kill, I don't even know if I could explain that to them in any sort of rational sense.
Well, it's naked people running around fighting. So
there's even a group called Nudist Beach. Like the whole point of being naked is like a part of that plot.
Yes,
like it's central to that plot.
You don't wear the cursed clothing or the parasite clothing.
The life fibers, as they were called. But I do love that series. I'd love to purchase the Blu-rays and DVDs if they weren't fucking costing me an arm and a leg.
How much are they, Corey?
Oh god, the Blu-rays I think alone are like $50.
Okay,
that's like 4 episodes.
So that's how many episodes?
And this is not 2002 where anime gets price gouged and they charge you on individual episodes per disc. We live in the age of the box set, of the Blu-ray box set, and that shit does not stand. And the thing that really disturbs me the most about it is I know I'm going to pick it up eventually. I just, every week, I go to Amazon, I look at the prices, I'm like, I'm going to buy that shit. I know I'm going to do it. But I still have a few other things on lock and key. I got a new Gundam that's coming out that's going to
use our Amazon
rock
link
my world. Yes, that's another thing. Look out for our Amazon link. It's a great way to support us, and whenever you make a purchase, it'll help support our channel. And it's really easy to do, and you don't lose any money, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, salesman Corey. Fucking the man over there. Not giving you problems. I let him into that. I was like, yeah, that's a great way to use the Amazon link.
I'm trying my best.
Oh, man. So, Corey, what brings us to a podcast? I think that's an interesting conversation. So,
people want to hear us talk, apparently.
Yeah, people like to just hear us talk. But I more so mean our journey to get to this in the sense. I didn't want to start off with this because, you got to get warmed up.
Yeah.
But like, I fell in love with the Joe Rogan podcast. I will always out loud say heavily inspired by that show, in this show, in the same sense that we have a big table. I went out and got the same goddamn mics, I don't know. I just really love the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. And if you haven't listened to it, it's crazy good and a fun time. And it's not too serious, but at the same time, funny. I don't know. How would you describe it? It's bro time podcast?
A little bit, it's definitely the truest side of Joe Rogan that you'll ever see.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think the show is fantastic, and I love the fact that every show is always about something completely different.
Yeah, his guests are very influential to the show, and then also we want to have guests too, not just because he does, but I think that we could. I happen to work in the Atlanta film community, so I know like a ton of fucking cool people that we could ask to come on here. I met the director of photography and the director for what's that big Atlanta reality TV show the other day? Like hip hop and love. Well, I guess that's better than the Real Housewives. Not the hip hop and love Atlanta or whatever.
Because that makes our city look fantastic.
Well, reality TV show is reality TV is all scripted and but people watch it, Corey. What, you can't deny that. They watch it. That's why it's still there. If people like other people's drama, they like to know, oh, I felt that person fight with that other person.
Those people need a lobotomy. Simple as that.
People are stimulated by stupid shit. We're still like stimulated by very interesting things in this lifetime. Okay, so I also really like the Hardcore History podcast by Dan Carlin. That introduced me to the Mongols, and if you haven't listened to the Wrath of the Khan, his podcast is amazing. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, Wrath of the Khan series. I think it's a 5-part series, and each episode is like 3 hours long. And you're like, I don't want a history lesson. It's like, listen, it was awesome. And it's all about the Khan and how he came to power and his sons and all the history of how he took over everything from like China to the end of Russia and almost started taking over Rome. And then I won't ruin it, but it's amazing. And it goes, there's 5 episodes of 3 hours. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. How could I even summarize that in like 5 seconds? And then, did you get into podcasts? We liked some of Doug's stuff. That was interesting. He had a show where he just brought famous people on and they all got stoned. And I always thought that was like amazing.
And it's like, if a guy can make a show like that, why can't we just talking about the stuff we like?
I was like, we can sit down and talk. That's not that hard.
No, that'd be really easy.
Yeah, so here we are. And there's got to be other things along our journey. Like I got this studio, and starting a brick and mortar store was way more expensive than I thought. And buying all the sound equipment, because I own a lot of camera equipment. We have about 3 or 4 cameras we use to produce YouTube videos. But audio equipment was like a whole nother thing. So I had to learn about it too. Like we're using a soundboard. We have mics.
learning how to use this stuff. And Christian's way more of an expert at it as I am. Like, little by little, he's trying to teach me shit. Like, today he let me edit a video on his computer. Which,
on Final Cut X? That
was a freaking struggle, man. Because I'm PC, he's Mac. And Mac does everything ass backwards.
For fun.
And, like, I just had to get used to dislodging my fingers just to, like, copy and paste shit. You know, it's little things like that, you know, and just all the new equipment here. And I'm just glad that we actually got it running smoothly today.
We just sat down and you know what we're like. Actually, I'm gonna give the credit to someone that wrote us on Facebook. He's like, "Hey man, you guys should just start a podcast where you sit around and talk." And I was like, "Yes, we were supposed to do that." And fucking still haven't sat down to do that, and we're going to do that this week.
I'm so happy. We're actually doing that. You know, we had this plan for a long time. We've had a lot of projects planned. It's just, you know, life happens, and just so many other things get in the way. And, you know, that's probably why we don't ever put, like, a release schedule out for things, because, you know, we can be a little more vague with it.
And the other thing is, it got to the point where everything was here.
Yeah.
But we still hadn't done it. Mm-hmm. And now, like, the last month, I was like, we just got to do it.
I mean, when you first started the studio, little by little, we'd trickle in. I've noticed over the last 2 months, we've been here a lot more.
And I like it that way.
Which is awesome. It's starting to feel like home. It's starting to feel like the studio. And I think that's awesome.
Like, you know, my sister, she just bought a house, and she said it took about 4 months for her to actually make it feel like it was hers, you know? And I feel like we're getting through that. That's
a good way of putting it. It's like moving into a new house or apartment.
Yeah, like this whole area. And you guys only see this room, but we have like a waiting room. I have another company I work with that rents one of my rooms because I have about 1,000 square feet. And then we have a green screen room, which we have not utilized, but I rent out all the time to my corporate clientele, bitches. And anyway, the point is that we have a lot of stuff here, but this is kind of our main. We always wanted this to be like our production room. Mm-hmm. I think this is like the news desk, if you will, the hang out and fucking love my big ass table. I'm going to talk about it too much. That was a big thing though. Even the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, they have a big reclaimed oak table. So me, like being a little super fan creeper, was like, I'm going to get me a reclaimed oak table. And I went and looked, and it would freak you out how much that cost. So I immediately said, never mind, I'm getting a pine table. Because reclaimed oak by itself, this thing's like 5x8. It's a gigantic table. Oak in a 5x8 piece would be like $4,000 just for the wood.
That's expensive for some freaking wood.
For a fucking table. I was like, never mind.
This table right here, though, this is pretty heavy duty, though.
Yeah, this is a 3-inch pine.
This is heavy quality. This is the type of shit fucking Wile E. Coyote buys from Acme to kill the damn road.
Yeah, this is hanging on the rope. You're swinging, you know, with the trap about to drop it. Like, that's how big this thing is.
That's how good this table is. And it looks nice, and it's perfect for this podcast. And, you know, I wish it were round.
You like round? Okay.
Because I like the round table aspect of it all.
Okay.
Mostly just because, you know.
Knights of the Round Table and shit?
Exactly. I just think that shit's awesome. But still, this is an amazing table. I love the setup.
Yeah, and so now that we have all this, we're just going to stick to it and keep making it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Also, something about me. I'm a video guy. I go around and I film things. I think I mention that often. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, the other week, though, I got to work at the Smite World Tournament, which was awesome. It was a esports event, and I was a cameraman for it. And I don't know how to describe Smite. It's like League of Legends. So you get about 4 characters on each team, maybe 6, and you get a character. And each character has its, you know, its pluses and minuses. Like, you know, Wizard's really strong, but super weak to actually getting hit. And then you get a Warrior who's like a tank, and he can take all the damage. But he has to be right up to you to damage you, you know, when he gets super damaging attacks if he gets close. And then you get casters and summonings people. And anyway, everyone gets their pluses and minuses, and each team gets 6 characters. And they're all based on gods, like Hercules, Zeus, Odin, all that shit.
Is it all like Greek mythology?
Greek? No, it's like every mythology.
It's like everything.
But Greek, like outer shell looking. Everything, but they kind of Greek it up, you know, with pillars, big white pillars and stuff like that. Anyway, so I sat there and worked at the Smite World Tournament, and I had no idea how big like esports was. I just never seen it. I see the videos of the 2 guys like, oh my God, he's casting da da da, da. You know, I see that, and that's cool, but I just never been to a place with like 4,000 people watching live as 2 teams played on stage. And we had a 40-foot crane coming down to get these wide shots. And we had 2 desks doing ESPN-style commentary. One would do live during game, and one would do a 4-man team after the game to do recap. And they even have guys sitting there cutting the video as soon as they were done to get highlight videos out to them. and they had a guy with a big switcher switching. We had 19 cameramen there.
Wow.
19 cameramen, and one of these huge places that probably could have had, I don't know, maybe over 10,000 people. Not that there were 10,000 people there, but it could have easily held 10,000 people. And it was a big theater. So it was crazy working that. And they even hired professional hot chicks. And then they had professional costume designers make cosplays for them. So you just had super hot bitches walking around with like, you know, like, what's that guy in Greek mythology that has like the little wings on his head? And then he has like wings on his feet.
Oh, man, if you have not have told me.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's like a hot chick with that, but instead she has like that, but she's barely wearing anything.
It's the dude that... He was voiced by Paul Schaefer in the Hercules Disney version.
Exactly, that guy. You know who I'm talking about.
Paul Schaefer, of all people, is the guy who's reminding me of this guy, whose name just escapes me. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so that character, but she's a hot female version, and she only has like 2 carved out rock bras on. So she just has these big sticky fake foam rocks on her tits. And it's just like, oh, they just hire hot chicks to hang out here. And you know.
It's like the booth babes they used to have at E3, which... Little by little, they seem to be trickling them out because they're trying to turn it into a place of business.
I think it's but they had the hot people were professional cosplayers. Is kind of what they were, and I also realized that the hottest girl, in my opinion, was the one I was just describing. She was also the one that was holding her boobs in the Too Many Cooks video. She was an extra in that video. You know,
the one who's playing charades.
Yeah, she was that chick, and I just ended up talking to her about Too Many Cooks, and I walked up to her and I was like, "You were in Too Many Cooks," and she's like, "Well, you can check me out online. My name's Victoria, like Victoria's Secret, and Sun, like in the sky." And she had this whole like routine, and I was like, "Oh, you've done that 1,000 times." And then after that, she just did not seem that interested in being in Too Many Cooks. She's like, "I've also done a lot of other things, you know." And I was like, "Okay,"
which include
being naked at this event.
Well, make sure to check out her
being
videos.
in my bathing suit in that event. You know, okay.
But that is something that's really cool, like how esports has really blown up over the last couple of years. And, you know, a personal dream of mine is to go to the Evo tournament, which is the big fighting game tournament. And
that's like world class.
I mean, that's like big shit, big household names like Justin Wong and Daigo appear, and they throw down in Street Fighter. Yeah, that type of stuff. That's what I want to see. I want to be in a room with a bunch of overweight nerds who have not showered for days, and be in this room, and I want to share in their energy when a Hadouken gets thrown and gets slammed into someone's face. That moment at those Evo tournaments is insane, man. Those guys get so hyped up over that stuff. Well, and this year's going to be huge because not only did the new Smash Brothers just come out, but there's Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, Street Fighter 5 coming out. There's going to be some big shit going on in Evo, and I don't even want to participate because, you know, these guys are going to kick my ass. I love Smash Brothers. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. I am mediocre at best when compared to some of the best players in that game.
And you kick... Here's the thing. Before the online world came into being, which it just happened on this latest iteration of Super Smash, you were the best out of all of us. Like, you usually kicked all of our asses. Like, recently, I make you put on a 50% handicap when we play. Last time we played Super Smash Bros. But you really aren't that great online. Put you in place pretty quick.
I'm pretty freaking average. In fact, I think they have like a winning ratio. I think my winning ratio right now is 60%.
That's good, though.
Which, to me, is good. But, I mean, I'll be damned if I don't get my ass handed to me constantly on that game. But I still get a huge thrill.
Of play, you know, on that game. So that's the thing. I think you get to see styles of play that you don't see in our 5-person friend group that come over and play.
That is something that mixes it up. But, I mean, even if I just got to play that just with different people at Evo, I think that would be really fun. And just to play against real humans and see my ass getting handed to me. That's what always happens when we go to, like, anime conventions and comic book conventions like Dragon Con. Last year I remember playing Smash Brothers Brawl, which will unfortunately probably be the very last time I play that game.
I guess you're right.
No offense, it's just the Wii version is that good, and I just do not care for the Brawl version anymore. I do miss Snake and Ice Climbers, but that's a topic for another cast. I don't know, just I always end up just barely about to win, and then they always just edge me out. And it's because of their movements and their dodging, and those guys are hardcore, and those are the type of people you always see at those tournaments.
Yeah, like fighting game tournaments never really like interested me because I was never that great at fighting games, and I really loved RTS games, real time strategy games.
You've always been like RTS and shooters.
RTS and shooters, but I was never great at RTS. I just like building a big army and fucking up the other dude, but I couldn't defend myself and do all that other crazy strategy stuff. And exploring the map was a big aspect of RTS and finding the resources and building the refineries fast enough to claim your resources. You know, like that micromanagement game of RTSs, I always hated. I just like building big armies and fucking up dudes.
That's why I like Pikmin. That's
Pikmin's
all
fun.
that game is.
Yeah, there's no
make
like,
army, kill bad guy.
That's it.
And carry fruit. Like that's it.
But the fruit doesn't really. It gives you more Pikmin, but it doesn't. It's not like you get gas and minerals and like all this other stupid stuff. You know, like the micromanagement game of RTS, like in StarCraft. Even the guys that are really good at StarCraft, they don't win with big armies destroying little armies. They're like, the armies are the exact same the whole time, and it comes down to like 3 characters like winning the game. It's so crazy. Like they got it down such to a science that it's like, oh my god, oh there's 1 Marine left and he's killing the castle, you know. It's like, damn, you know, it like gets down to just 1 or 2 dudes. StarCraft is crazy, but I even played online for a little bit right when StarCraft 2 came out, and I immediately got my ass kicked like 5 times. And I was like, oh, I can't play this online.
I mean, it's still got a decent like single player though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's fun single player, and it's very objective based, you know. And they're like, use these guys to kill these guys because you're a retard, and we can't just let you try to figure this out. And
the age of the single player might be over. You know, we're definitely we're going more towards the multiplayer side of games, which I don't know how I feel about that. Or
single players like, it's 4 hours. That was good. Yeah. There are single player games like Shadow of Mordor. We played that the other day. I got that on my PS4, and that game is awesome. And then Corey came over, and he plays so much Arkham Asylum or whatever Batman games that he just came over and owned it. And then we looked on the back of the box, and it was made by the same company.
I think the publisher, I don't know if it was NetherRealm Studios, but it was definitely Warner Brothers, which they definitely had a hand in the Mortal Kombat series and in Batman, and you know they definitely got some good franchises, but they definitely got a lot of the same people working on the same projects, which I'm kind of okay with because their quality is amazing. I didn't even know anything about Shadows of Mordor going. I thought I was like, oh, is this some stupid tie-in game that's gonna suck major balls? And I was like, wow, this is fucking brutal and awesome.
Yeah,
this
is
really
great.
You were decapitating like 10 orcs at a time.
Yeah, when you're towards the end of the game, you become kind of unstoppable. You can take on like 10 orcs, no problem.
It's sad, and I never thought I'd say this because I've had a lot of time to think about it. The most recent Hobbit movie. Good movie. Really liked it. Is it sad that I enjoyed playing Shadows of Mordor for 1 hour more than watching that movie?
The last movie is the most disappointing. I mean, hands down. The first movie's the best. The second movie's okay. And third movie feels so forced and out of character in a lot of ways.
It's kind of like the first Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Is that
to me, in a way. I liked the first Fellowship. I think that's the best. I just love the setup to the story. I think that Two Towers was second best, and then the third, Return of the King, it never ended. Just kept going. Which is something that I was really glad about the Hobbit movie. It didn't have like too many fake out endings. Yeah,
I remember when Return of the King came out, and I got sick at school, and you still made me go. And I was like, Corey, I don't feel good,
dude.
Bro.
All right, so get this.
I had the flu or something.
Let me picture.
I had like a fever of 103, and you're like, too bad. I really want to go see this.
Let me set up this story for you. All right, so it's
Corey's
like
an asshole.
The dead of December.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to go see the Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King, the final movie, which is the big one of the trilogy, the one everybody's going to go see. Day one, just opened up, huge. We've been planning to go see this day one right after school.
Right then.
We never do that shit. We never go to the movie theater right after school. And the day it happens, Christian comes in looking sick as shit, feeling awful, but he's like, it's okay, man. I'm still going to be able to get through this.
I'm going to push through this.
And I could tell when he said that, by the end of the day, this shit wasn't going to happen.
Because it like got worse. It's like when you get sick in the morning and you just get worse and worse and worse. Because you're on the way up of the getting sick train. You know, you're not at the peak of that mountain yet. So I was just like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, oh my God, I can't fucking see straight. I feel nauseous. I have a fever. I have chills. Corey's saying, fuck you, get in the car. We're still going after school.
That is exactly what is happening. Christian is literally struggling to breathe. And I'm like, you better get in that damn car. I want to see Frodo's finger get bit the fuck off. Get in now. So we plow into his car. We drive to the theater, which is right up the way. And he just sits through this whole movie like
shaking.
A freaking... basically, yeah, you're like a leper patient the whole time, freaking out, and it's made worse by the fact that this movie has 10
5 endings?
fucking endings that keep ongoing.
And
it's funny because every single time an ending was about to start, you could hear the people getting up and then going, ugh, as soon as they realized that it wasn't the original ending. And Christian, thank you for being a trooper during that movie.
So bad driving home because that wasn't the worst part. It was I drove, so I had to take Corey home after the movie. And then I was like, Corey, maybe you should call your mom to come pick you up. Nah, man, you can just take me. It's cool. And then on the way home, I felt so bad. I was like, maybe I should just like wreck my car so I can sleep in it all night because that would be much easier than trying to drive home right now.
That's how desperate you were
to
just not drive or do anything.
Yeah, I was like, the medium, that thing's designed to absorb an impact. I won't die. I'll just park it there.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I do feel bad about that.
Well, it took 4 years, but thank you, Corey.
It's been longer than that.
Way longer than 4 years.
I do apologize. I really didn't mean to put you through that. And if I'd have known really that you were that ill, I would have totally postponed it for another day.
I forgive you this one time, Corey.
Yeah.
This one time.
So yeah. So this episode has forgiveness on it. There's some deep thought going up into this shit.
Yeah, that's right. There's some love and emotion in here, people. What else you got, Corey?
What else do I got?
Yeah,
I got a million
masses.
things. I got a million topics. I'm the anime guy, so I got another one primed for that. But I'm going to skip that because I want to go back to something video game related again and movie related.
Okay.
Recently, I just picked up a brand new game on PlayStation Network, which is the HD remaster of Resident Evil. The original Resident Evil game, except that it's actually not the original. It's the GameCube version, so it is a remake, remastered HD edition of a game that will no longer be on another Nintendo console, which is kind of a bummer, but getting to play through this game again on PlayStation 3 is awesome. What's really sucky about it is that it's done so well and it's got so much exposure that they finally decided to start doing the Resident Evil movies again with Milla Jovovich. And
they're rebooting them with her?
No, they're not rebooting them, they're doing the last one. And
how many? They always say it's the last one.
I know, there's been Afterlife and Apocalypse. When your movie has fucking Apocalypse at the end of it, and I guess maybe the new X-Men can get away with it because the character's name is Apocalypse, but just this series should have died so long ago, and just playing the remake has just reminded me how much of a spiral this series has gone into, and how the first game is still the fucking best in the series, and how it still legitimately creeps me out. It is one of the most horrifying experiences that I have ever played. There are moments when I have to stop because I simply don't want to walk down a hallway.
I feel like they were using it as an experiment to do a horror game, and then they just never captured that magic again. It's like Broken Lizards. They got Super Troopers, and then that was it. They couldn't get the magic again. It was a one-time thing.
To their defense, I did like Beer Fest.
Beer Fest is good.
I don't think it's as classic as Super Troopers is ever going to want to be.
It's just a pretty simple concept, though.
Oh, it's an incredibly simple concept. It's a beer drinking competition. That's the movie.
Yeah,
right there.
The Germans are assholes. Everyone can make the Germans the bad guys. It's easy.
But the thing I love most about the game, too, is how it amazes me. This game came out years ago on GameCube, and it looks just as good as the stuff you see on PS3, and to a lesser extent, not as good, but nearly as good on PS4. And I think they did a really good job of capturing the essence of the original game. And I want them to put that into a movie format so bad. Or just avoid the entire situation altogether.
Why can't there just be another series that's a different universe?
No, I'm waiting for the reboot. We're all waiting for the reboot. We've all been waiting for the reboot.
Do you want it to be like found footage? What do you want it to be?
No, hell no. You're opening up a whole nother podcast with found footage bullshit. Which, that's another big fear. One of my big favorite franchises of all time, horror franchises, Friday the 13th. They're talking about making another one, and one of the ideas that was getting thrown around is, let's make it a found footage Friday the 13th. No! Do not do that. That is a horrible idea. But I don't know if they should do the whole found footage route. I think they need to go back to the drawing board and start with the original game and use that claustrophobic mansion as a setting. Because I think that would make for a much better horror film. The problem is, it's too late. We're in the middle of the fucking zombie renaissance. Who the fuck is going to give a shit about a new Resident Evil movie when you can stay home and watch The Walking Dead for free?
And it's good.
It is good.
The Walking Dead's good.
Infinitely better than any of those Resident Evil movies. Even the bad episodes that involve Carl are better than any of those Resident Evil movies.
Or Beth, which she's gone, so there's no more of those.
Oh, she gone as shit.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Sorry.
She went to visit someone in the sky forever.
I think his name is Gad.
Yeah. So have you seen the new trailer for The Walking Dead season?
Not yet.
I haven't seen it either. I almost want to watch it.
They got that getting ready to start up. They have Game of Thrones, which is getting ready to start. I did see a commercial for that.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I want to see that so bad.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones and Walking Dead are like my two only TV things I watch. Like, what else do you watch TV-wise?
Right now, Gotham, which is the brand new Batman spinoff show.
Yeah.
And Agent Carter, which unfortunately was on break this week due to the State of the Union address. So, middle finger right there.
Sounds like I don't know what I was going with that. It sounds like, what is Agent Carter? Because I'm not.
Agent Carter is. You saw the first Captain America movie, right?
Yeah.
Captain America: First Avenger.
Yeah.
There was Agent Peggy Carter, who was the British woman who basically was there to help train Captain America. She was also the love interest. She was the one who, at the very end of the movie, when he's getting ready to dive into the Arctic and get all frozen and shit, he was the last person she was talking to. Mm-hmm. And she now has her own show, which is about her working with the FBI. And I'm guessing this is going to be like how the foundation of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be formed. Like how eventually it's going to happen. But what I think is really cool about the show, though, is how it ties again into the Marvel mythos and how it's continuing to do its own thing. One, it's set in the 1940s, which already gives the show a lot of character. All the way the characters dress, the way they talk, the cars, the look of everything. I just think that gives it a lot of character. And frankly, I think that makes it a more interesting show than Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I haven't seen a single episode of that.
S.H.I.E.L.D. puts me to sleep.
It doesn't seem that. It seems like we got some fucking actors. We got some more money to promote this Marvel thing. We're going to just fucking pump out a TV show with them doing things.
The only time I ever tune in for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is when they explicitly say, hey, this week's episode or this week's arc is going to tie into the next big Marvel movie, which the next season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is supposedly going to tie into Age of Ultron, which I think is going to be pretty cool. But just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't know, it's just boring to me. The characters just don't do too much for me. And there are some surprising characters on there, too. Like Patton Oswalt is on the show.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is really strange. You know, they're really starting to incorporate more comedians into the Marvel Universe. Like John C. Reilly playing Nova in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is still the weirdest choice, I think, for any Marvel cast ever.
I feel like he was we got him, so we're going to use him move, and his character is interesting, but I don't feel like does very much. And it's kind of
he's
like
in the movie for like 5 minutes.
He's a waste of a
barely
cast.
Does anything.
They could have just got any super buff guy or some soldier looking.
That's what surprises me. They could have gotten some young buff dude to play Nova, and they got Dewey Cox. Like, that just completely blows my mind. Cal Naughton Jr., Shake and Bake.
Shake and Bake.
Is another savior of the universe. You know, I mean, the Nova Corps is basically the Marvel's equivalent to the Green Lantern Corps from DC. They're the space police. You know, it's what they do.
That's what they do. They go around and they arrest people unless they're about to get blown up themselves, and they couldn't do too much then, could they?
No, not really. But another thing that I really like about Agent Carter is, you know how Iron Man always talks to his butler?
Yes.
In the suit Jarvis?
Yes.
It's like the living AI. In the actual show, Agent of Carter, you get to see Jarvis when he's alive.
Oh, Jarvis was a person.
Exactly. You actually get to see like him as a human being. It's the same voice. It's the same guy. And he's actually working with Agent Carter.
Okay.
And this is going to tie, obviously, into their relationship and then the eventual future of S.H.I.E.L.D. and possibly the Avengers. Who knows?
I guess that's probably the reason that S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't as interesting, because it focuses on too many people.
I don't know. I just think the characters just aren't as interesting.
Oh, that's it?
But
okay.
No, that's a good theory, too, because Agent Carter seems to focus a little bit more, really on Agent Carter herself.
Yeah.
And, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just has all of these just characters, these stock characters that you've seen in every other crime drama and show that's very similar to that.
Why do you like Gotham, then?
Gotham is different.
Because Gotham, I haven't seen.
And Gotham is by no means a perfect show. I still think it's good. The only problem is it still suffers from prequelitis, which is, this is entertaining and all, but I know what's going to happen. Yeah. I know what's going to happen to this character. I know, oh great, the Penguin's getting beat up right now by the mobsters. Is he going to die? No, he's the Penguin! He's going to become one of the most notorious villains in all of Gotham. You don't have to worry about that. The characters that are interesting, however, are the new characters, which are freaking fantastic. In particular, this one character played by Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, Fish Mooney, who is this female mob boss who is just so amazingly charismatic, and she just eats up every scene that she's in, and she's having so much fun.
What else has she been in? She's been in a lot of stuff.
She was in, wasn't Boys, I don't know if it was Boys to the Hood or Menace to Society.
Okay, besides the joke movie, she's been in normal things.
Joke movies, those are good movies, man. Those are movies about the streets.
Don't be a hood.
Gangsta life, man.
Don't be a hood while you're drinking your juice in South Central, or what was that one?
Oh, God. That was one of those parody movies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't even seen that one.
You've never seen that movie?
No. I've seen Boys to Men and Menace to Society, but I ain't seen that shit.
Don't be a menace to society while you're drinking your juice in South Central.
And now that it is Menace to Society.
Yeah.
That's the one that Jada Pinkett Smith was in. She was the girlfriend who was getting ready to get her life together and moved to Atlanta with her boyfriend, who ended up getting killed in a drive-by at the very end of that movie. I love Menace to Society. It's one of my favorite gang movies of all time. It's way more intense than Boys to the Hood, or Boys in the Hood.
And Pest. Do you remember Pest back in the day?
Are you? How the hell did you bring up Pest in a discussion about Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society? John Leguizamo is not as gangsta as fucking Cuba Gooding Jr.
I ate that shit up when I was a kid. I don't know why. I love that
movie.
movie.
I'm not going to lie either. I love The Pest, and I didn't even watch it when I was younger. The first time I watched it when I was 14, and it was because my good friend Cody showed it to me. I believe you know him.
Oh, yeah.
And he showed it to me on DVD. He's like, Corey, I can't believe you haven't seen this movie. It's ridiculous. And my God, it is. It's hilarious. It is one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen. It might be John Leguizamo's best movie aside from maybe Super Mario Brothers, but I like it. It's good stuff.
I can't believe you said his best movie is Mario Brothers. That movie sucks balls.
Does it?
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
What are you trying to say? What are you pitching over there, Corey?
I don't know. For me, the Super Mario Brothers movie is a guilty pleasure, if anything. Has nothing to do with the games, doesn't really have too much redeeming qualities to it, but I can watch it and at least be entertained by the crappy quality of it all.
I mean, yeah, it's a big joke the whole time, so yes, it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It is interesting, and I can't believe they made it. That's what I say the whole time when I watch that movie. I'm like, oh, I can't believe they made this. I actually watched that in theaters with my grandfather. I remember that, and we left, and we're like, that wasn't that good.
That's all that was said.
Yeah.
That was all that had to be said about that movie.
It wasn't that good. And The
Bodyguard. A lot of people don't even know what that song is from.
Really?
It's from that movie, The Bodyguard, which I believe has Kevin Costner in it. That's the final scene of the movie.
Where they all sing that song?
No, I think it's when they're I think it's when they're getting off on a plane. They see each other, they run into each other, and then they kiss. And
camera spins around.
Yeah, super, super cheesy.
Sounds good.
But yeah, another thing that I'm really excited about for this podcast is just it couldn't have come at a better time, because there's so many amazing things going on in the world of pop culture for nerds and everything. In particular, for me, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Star Wars Episode 7 is coming out at the very end of this year. The Force freaking awakens. Oh my God, that is going to be like a weekly segment on this show, just talking about the new things that are released about it, new information. I am pumped for this movie, man.
The Star Wars movie, I have to be honest, it's not that I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. Mm-hmm. I just never got into the hype of the whole thing, but I am excited to see this new one because it's going to make the world go crazy.
It is.
There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt in my mind it's going to be the biggest film of 2015.
I can't even believe it's coming out this year.
I still can't believe it either. It's a good thing too that it's coming out after all of the other big movies this summer. Because Marvel's got their big releases with Age of Ultron and even Ant-Man with Paul Rudd of all people.
Whatever. Paul Rudd's a good actor. Let him get in there. He works 80% of the time every time.
The reason I'm willing to accept it is because I think that very good. I think that Ant-Man is going to be more of a comedy than a typical Marvel
Yeah, but he's going to
movie.
make him laugh, and then he's going to punch him in the face.
Yeah. But, I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the movie
Look at fucking Tony Stark. He's a walking comedy.
Exactly. Everybody loves his whole, demeanor. Even when he's in the Iron Man suit, he's still Tony Stark. He's still very snarky and has a lot of one-liners. And I'm hoping they're going to sort of have a lot of fun with Ant-Man, because the first trailer looked really serious and kind of over the top, but they did have that one final line, and Paul Rudd's like, can we change the name? I kind of feel it's going to be more like that the whole movie, if anything. How are they going to make the whole sequence where he rides on an ant through the city and everything, that's got to be played for a little bit of laughs.
Oh, the other thing is, how are you going to have Paul Rudd and have him not be goofy?
Exactly.
How the fuck can you cast him in that role?
Have you ever seen Paul Rudd trying to be serious?
I think there is a serious movie. What, 40-something? He was in that.
That's honestly maybe the closest he's come to playing a serious role.
I'm sure there's some independent film we don't know about that he's done.
I mean, I'm not saying he's responsible for destroying the Halloween film franchise, but he certainly helped put a nail in its coffin.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, exactly. It's that bad. He was in the fifth or sixth Halloween movie, The Curse of Michael Myers, and it was Paul Rudd. And he was like the main male lead. And even back then, I was like, who the hell is this guy? He wasn't even big yet. Awful. Awful in the movie. Just terrible actor at the time. Like, he clearly did not know what the hell he was doing, and he should not have been in a movie like that. But you put him in a setting like 40-Year-Old Virgin.
And he's awesome.
Dude's fucking hilarious.
Or, I was going to reference 40-Year-Old Virgin, but that's probably one of his best movies.
I like the one, what was the one he was in with Sean William Scott where they were being bigger brothers?
Role Models.
Role Models. I actually think that's a pretty fun movie.
Sean William Scott's a great actor. I wish he was in more shit. Why isn't he right next? He should be right next to, who's the actor that plays the news anchor? I'm forgetting his name. Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, yeah.
He should be right up there next to Will Ferrell. He is good. In my mind, Stifler.
I think he's I think he's a snappy comedian. I don't know if I'd call him a good actor.
I don't mean he's fucking going for the Oscar.
I mean, he's better than me. I couldn't fucking act my way out of a paper bag.
But I mean, his fucking redneck character, in Old School was great. It's fucking great.
He was in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
For that one role where they're like, we need Sean William Scott in a mullet and a cut-off plaid T-shirt just to say shit. When Will Ferrell
got a fucking dart in your neck.
Dude, that scene is still funny to me.
I know, it's great.
I love that scene.
That's why I'm
much.
like, that guy needs to be in more movies.
Old School. I really think that's one of those movies that feels older than it really is.
Eurotrip is old now, but I love that movie.
Oh my god, Eurotrip, which
Eurotrip
I guess
great.
Maybe is like the unofficial sequel to Road Trip. Maybe it's just the title and the similarity in storytelling. I don't know.
I just call it the American Pie era.
The American, it kind of has that feel.
Whenever it was all that sort of like teenage, but to me, I didn't know
back
about
when Third Eye Blind was awesome.
Oh my god! But I realized there were stages before that, aka like Animal House. Mm-hmm. There were movies before these movies.
That's what Old School kind of is to me. It's basically a modern day Animal House.
Yeah, it feels like that too. We're going streaking.
But at the same time, it pokes fun at the fact that they're kind of doing that too because
they're old.
They're old. Yeah, they shouldn't be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Which, in a way, does make that movie still pretty freaking clever.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and me and my girlfriend were hanging out, and I call it Netflix roulette. She's like, "Ooh, I really want to see this movie." I'm like, "Well, let's fucking go get disappointed and look on Netflix when it's not there, And so, like, she's like, "Oh, I really want to see Eurotrip. You made it sound so funny." And I was like, "Well, it's not going to be there," and it wasn't. And it was very sad. But she should see that.
No, I love that one, especially when they go to I think it's Amsterdam. And they have the one guy who goes to Vondersex.
Vondersex.
That scene.
Wieden, Heiden, Huden.
That scene, just saying that, like, it cracks me up.
You got the T-shirt at least.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess that is the thing. He walks out all disheveled and shit. Looks like he just got ass raped, but at least he's still wearing the T-shirt.
He's like, I got my shirt.
He's going by the whole Dave Chappelle rule. Oh, got raped.
Gotta walk it off.
Gotta walk that shit off.
Got raped. Yeah, that was that shit was so good, and I watched the interview, which I thought was good, but it's really the lowest denominator of comedy, and it's sad that has got so much hype. I was like, there's so many better movies.
It didn't get hype because of the movie though.
Yeah.
Like itself, it got hype of the controversy behind the movie.
It was the best marketing,
which you can now watch on Netflix and on PlayStation Network.
Can you watch it on Netflix? I think I watched it on YouTube. I rented it off YouTube.
You can do it on Netflix now.
Okay, cool.
What happened to the threats from the terrorists? They just? I mean, it played in theaters, right?
Played in select independent theaters, AMC and stuff. Still didn't play it.
So they didn't bomb them. Why not?
Because the terrorists.
They only got it out for like United Artists and Regal Cinemas and stuff?
Yeah, they were like, fuck the big chains. And no, they were just pussies. Who knows, Corey? The whole damn thing is a big marketing stunt. When does it turn from a terrorist threat to... Where's that moment? When it turns from a terrorist threat to wanting to save people's lives. They're like, okay, we're not going to show the movie because we don't want anyone getting blown up in our theaters. To, wait, maybe this is just good marketing and we'll just release it anyway. So where's that line? Because that happened somewhere in there with all that bullshit, and someone made some money.
The marketing behind that, like if that was like intentional.
No.
Genius.
It doesn't even have to be intentional. you just have to realize halfway through the whole thing, you're like, oh wait, but now we will release it because everyone's giving a shit. And because we're really going to release it, everyone's, they do all the calculation. I feel like someone just calculated in that head and they were like, yeah, we can make this work.
I mean, personally, I would have just liked to see Pineapple Express 2.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
If only just to see another ridiculous story with Dale and Saul and Danny McBride's character.
Oh my gosh.
I just want to see more interactions between, that final scene of Pineapple Express where they just get out of, the big shootout and then they're just randomly having... The final scene of the movie is them just having breakfast and talking about the night before. Is it weird that I want an hour and a half of that? Of that weird, awkward-ass, humor? I just think that would be really funny.
That would be funny. We should just make a podcast of that. Give you that every week.
Seth Rogen, James Franco, and Danny McBride.
There's a lot of cool shit on the internet that I don't think many people know. Like Seth Rogen and Snoop Dogg got together and smoked blunts and had a conversation and hung out for 30 minutes. Have you ever even seen that?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Snoop Dogg has his own show.
I mean, Seth Rogen's smoking pot is not really
It was pretty groundbreaking.
That's like a reporter going out, in today's news, the grass is green. It's no shit, Seth Rogen smokes pot.
Seth Rogen's blunt is green as well. This just in. Yeah, so, there's just a lot of cool shit on the internet. Mm-hmm. It's just, what was that other show I showed you from the old school comedian, that used to work with Adam Sandler? And he even had Adam Sandler and Kevin Spacey on, and he's an old grumpy dude. His timing is great.
Oh, man. You know
who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. I cannot put a name to the face.
Man, that sucks. We forgot
shit,
who
that
is.
Sucks.
Anyway, he's really
Y'all
funny.
Didn't hear this part.
He's funny. So check him out if you can decipher that bullshit, Yeah. So how long have we gone so far? Let's just check.
I have no idea.
I'm just going to check, guys. 58 minutes.
Should probably wrap it up then.
Okay, you guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. We're coming close to an hour, or at least over 40 minutes. So I feel that was a good first run. Mm-hmm. I feel like we slowly shed our radio voices. Hey, you guys, this week we're going to talk about this. And now we're just chilling.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to ditch the radio personalities and do other things. You got to adjust your mic while you're talking, Corey.
I do. That is something, again, that I'm still not used to. I'm not used to having a mic this close to my face and constantly there. I've made the comparison. It's a Muppet dong. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's felt. I don't know.
Just get through it, Corey.
I'll try.
Get that Muppet dong up in your grill. Okay. Well, you guys, thank you for watching. We want feedback, and we want suggestions for topics. And we're going to expand this. One of the things is Corey and I both have our laptops in front of us, but we want to get a video switcher in here so we can switch between the cameras, and which you will see because I'm going to edit all this in post. And switch between a laptop screen or something. So if we want to pull up something and look at something on the internet, you guys can see it along with us, and maybe we can watch things together. And we can't put I haven't seen the new Walking Dead trailer, and you haven't either. Mm-hmm. We couldn't watch that and show you it while we're talking. That'd probably give us copyright. But what we could do is just watch it, and you guys can watch our reactions and we'll talk about it.
And like I said earlier, whenever we talk about a certain topic, we have a video or something, we'll put links for all that stuff in the episode in the description box below, so you guys can check it out either after the episode or along with us.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll make Corey do that. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you, Corey.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. This is the Powerful Nerdcast, and this is the first episode, and we just made history, Corey.
Yes.
Boom.